Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy here, and I am also known as ETCG1 on this channel. And I start things off on ETCG1 with, hey, if it's your birthday, happy birthday. Please enjoy this digital cake I got for you. You might be asking yourself, Eric, what the heck are you doing sitting in front of this cozy fireplace? Well, that's an excellent question. To my last video that I posted, and I shot that at my storage facility, and it was super cold outside, and I'm sitting there talking about how super cold it is. Someone commented and said, Eric, you could just as easily do these videos in front of a fireplace. Sometimes the simplest solutions are often the best. Thank you for that, by the way. I wish I could remember who you were, but you know who you are. Let's get to the topic at hand. What the heck has happened to all of our television programming, our automotive television programming? I should be more specific when I say that. It seems that lately, all of the quote-unquote great shows are just sort of disappearing from the airwaves or from the cable or internet box or whatever we're using to get it from there to there. My point is that shows like Top Gear, Grand Tour, latest is Bitchin' Rides, Roadkill, all that stuff is just gone. And what happened? I mean, this is where I had my fun. I was hanging out with my buddies. Everything was going great. What's up? Why are these shows just going away? Well, this is my take on it. I'm not saying this is what's happening, but this is my take on things. Television shows are expensive to produce. Yes, that's right. They are expensive to produce because they take virtually an army of people to make them happen. You've got people that are there shooting the video themselves. It could be 2 to 3 videographers that are standing around all day documenting this footage and things that are happening during that moment. And then you've got a team of editors that have to go through all that footage. And then you've got producers and craft services and like I said, an army of people virtually that go into the production of these television shows. They aren't cheap to produce, let's put it that way. And those television shows all rely on advertising dollars to exist. Now, I'll say that YouTube a few years back took a pretty big chunk out of the television eyeballs. So the people that were watching television suddenly started watching YouTube, and the people on TV that work in TV are going, what the heck, what the heck? Everybody's watching YouTube. We used to make all these TV programs. We have all these great productions. We've got these armies of people that make all this great stuff. Why is this amateur getting all these views and all this advertising money that used to be mine? So we've kind of been through this in a little bit, and YouTube was a part of it. Well, then ad blockers came along, and then the algorithm afterwards, and now we're in a very different place. So do you see the pattern here? The pattern here is the money. And that's what I think is happening with television production. In particular, by 2035, I believe it is mandated by many countries, are saying that they are no longer going to produce internal combustion vehicles, or I should say, by 2025, they're looking to have all vehicles produced being zero emissions, which pretty much means electric, kind of. Yeah, pretty much means electric. So if you are a company that makes internal combustion vehicles, or you're a company that makes parts or aftermarket parts for internal combustion vehicles, and they're coming to an end in 10 years, yeah, it's late 2024 now, which is pretty much 2025, so 10 years from now is when everything is supposedly going to be zero emissions from there on out. So over the next 10 years, everything's being phased out, and you're a company that produces parts and tools and products for the internal combustion ecosystem. And you're looking at, in the next 10 years, things changing dramatically. So instead of investing in a television show, you're probably investing in retooling your entire operation to deal with that. That's my thought on this, especially if you're an automotive manufacturer, and they're the ones with the big dollars. In the case of Roadkill, Dodge sponsored them for years. Well, Dodge is making some pretty cool internal combustion vehicles, and now they're looking by 2035 to change that to zero emissions vehicles. So here we are in a place where we were making television shows about, internal combustion engines and perhaps bolting on some of these aftermarket parts of these internal combustion engines. And all this is going to end at some point. Some point it's going to end. I don't know when. I think it'll be years after 2035. But for the most part, you have to think about the people born now and what they're going to grow up into. If they grow up in a world where most of the vehicles are zero emissions, they're probably not going to miss the internal combustion so much because they never had it. Things change over time. But I think what is behind all this more than anything else, aside from the fact, when you look at people like Jeremy Clarkson, James May, and Richard Hammond, they've been doing this literally for more than 20 years now, I believe. So if you've been working a job for 20 some years, I'm sure you're ready to retire after that amount of time. And I'm sure that takes a lot of time and energy. And right now, I am a fan of a lot of these shows, and people like Jeremy Clarkson and James May and Richard Hammond and all the other people that have provided those hours of entertainment for me. If at all you see this, I just want to thank you personally for all the effort that you put into that. You have entertained me for hours and hours and hours. So even though you're leaving and I'm sad about it, I'm going to say thank you. Thank you for all of that, because it was awesome. It was truly awesome. And I can watch reruns over and over again. And I think that's what a lot of us are going to do going forward. And I think until the industry figures out what's next, we're going to kind of be in limbo for a while. But I'll tell you what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do whatever I can with Eric the Car Guy, ETCG1, or what have you, to continue to provide you with some sort of automotive entertainment. I don't rely on the same advertising dollars as a big production does, which is to my benefit. So I'm going to try to do what I can to step it up. So here's the summary. I just simply do not think that the advertising dollars are there to keep those shows going forward, and that's why they're going away. So it's almost always the bottom line that is the cause or the reason for a lot of these things, at least in my experience. So look to the money. And where I'm seeing the money, I'm seeing a lot of people are running scared because 2035 is coming. 2035 is coming. Winter is coming. And we're all going to have to deal with that when it gets here, for, better, for worse, what have you. That's a topic for another video. But today, I'd like to mourn the loss of some of our favorite television programs and thank all of those individuals that helped that happen. If you have automotive questions, I ask that you head to ericthecarguy.com. That will be linked in the description along with a bunch of other stuff. So, just peruse the description when you're done watching the video and say, ooh, Eric spent all this time putting all this cool stuff for me to do. You're welcome. Aside from that, thank you so much for watching today. Be safe, have fun, stay dirty, and I will see you next time.